What is up, my dudes? We've got the Corporate Esports Association Dota 2 Spring 2019 tournament going on. Today we've got my stomach is a graveyard, who I believe is Workday, and they're up against Microsoft Bane and Mirana Ganks, representing Microsoft. So this is going to be a bit of a run back from AHGL Grand Finals last year, where Microsoft took it 2-1. So I'm excited for the salty run back. We'll see if Workday has come up with any new strategies in the last year. The meta's changed a lot, obviously, but they have some experience playing against each other. So let's hop into the draft. We've got Razor, Doom, and Lifestealer Bane, Ursa as well. Pretty standard heroes to pick in the first phase these days, so pretty sensible bans all around, pretty generic bans as well. Nothing targeted yet. Workday has the first pick, so we probably won't see the Enigma come out of Bane and Mirana Ganks, which they've had a lot of success with so far. It's kind of hard to swing the Enigma pick in the second phase position, second pick position, because they always have a hero to respond with. You can also pick Enigma up later in the draft if you keep your off lane / 4-roll open, but you do want to pick Enigma early on in the draft just to keep that flexibility as well. You get that 3, you can play him as 3 or 4, and if you pick him in the first phase you can decide later where you want to put him. It also makes it harder for the other team to draft against. But instead, we're going to see Necroface banned as well, another flexible hero who can go into any of the lanes. Very different builds depending on which lane, but has been pretty popular recently with the rise of the Drow Deathball strat. Necro's been a pretty integral part of those Deathball strategies, keeping the team alive with the heavy amounts of sustain, and just pick up Guardian Greaves and maybe a Holy Locket and just keep your team alive forever. So, good ban coming out of Workday. Just adjust my mic a little bit. And a Bane, banned out from Bane and Mirana Ganks. Unfortunately, not going to be able to you know, fulfill the prophecy of their own team name, so very, very disappointing from them. It's pretty interesting, because I know THC likes to play Bane a lot, and Bane is a really strong hero right now. I don't think Bane will ever fall off, just because he's such a good lane support. So it's going to be Oracle and Venge opening up. Venge can counter the Enigma as well, so not going to be any chance of an Enigma pick. Oracle Darkseid, a pretty strong opening duo. Oracle is the position 5 and Darkseid is the offlaner. Very hard to lose your lanes in these scenarios. Darkseid, if you're feeling like you have a tough lane, just cut the wave behind the tower. And Oracle, it's still a really ridiculous hero, even though he got nerfed pretty hard in this patch. It's still ridiculous. At level 3, you have 500 damage of Magic Burst available with the Purifying Flames, Fortune End, and then to another Purifying Flames. It's so much damage. So we'll see if it's going to be position 5 Venge, which it usually is when you see Vengeful Spirit. It's not a strong laner, not going to be able to do much against the Darkseid in lane. Probably just going to try and harass a little bit, but we'll see what Bane and Mirana Ganks picks as their 4th position. Ultra Magnus plays a pretty mean Earth Spirit, and Darkseid Earth Spirit will make this Vengeful Spirit's lane miserable. They're going to open with Nyx Assassin. I like this a lot. You can always use that Spike Carapace to catch the Darkseid out of position when he Iron Shells himself or his allies. And Nyx is just a really strong hero right now, so revealing a support duo from Workday, but it's a pretty strong support duo, so I don't mind too much. You got a save, you got multiple stuns, and you got Invis as well to help scout. Oracle has been gonna have to spend a lot of money on detection this game, and it's also a nice hero to get on top of the Oracle. You can you know, either take out the Oracle directly if the Oracle is low enough, or you can just stun him long enough that he won't be able to get the false promise off on his teammates. So you're gonna see Sven banned out from Workday. Again, another hero who does really well with the Deathball strat, but they already have the Darkseid, and you don't see support Sven anymore, so if they were gonna play Sven, it would be in that carry role, and it's okay. It's good against the Vengeful Spirit because they have the Warcry can negate some of that Wave of Terror minus armor. I see Spectre banned out for from Bane and Mirana Ganks. This is an interesting ban. I don't think this is a good Spectre game. She kind of gets shut down by Darkseer a little bit, and Venge is not going to be able to help out the Spectre too much in the lane, so I don't think Spectre would have been the pick here for Workday, even if it was available. You'll see Earthshaker come out for Bane and Mirana Ganks. Ideally you want to play with a hero who's very good with the Darkseer. Then you go with Drow Ranger, so gotta double down on the Death Ball a little bit. Drows are quite a popular hero right now. Although, a lot of the times we've been seeing her in the first phase, interesting that she's made it through the draft to the second phase. It's pretty uncommon. But Drow Oracle is a pretty strong lane duo as well, because you got the Frost Arrow spam. Oracle already has a ton of of attack speed. His base attack time is one of the fastest in the game, so will benefit a lot from the Drow Ranger aura in the lane. And just gonna be able to trade with the Nyx Assassin pretty aggressively. Even though Nyx has, you know, we see these like triple, quadruple mango builds on Nyx Assassin where he has like 7+ HP regen. It's still gonna hurt for the Nyx to go up against this Oracle. But still pretty difficult to take out the Nyx, I think. We'll see who Bane and Mirana Ganks chooses to pick next for their position 4. I mean, Earth Spirit's still on the table, and Earth Spirit, Darkseer, pretty strong lane to go up against. We'll see Clockwork, interestingly enough, from Workday. Not a hero we see too often anymore. I think I would actually prefer Clockwork on the 4 role instead of the 3 role. Just take the pressure a little bit on having to farm and just focus on killing. You get that level 1 battery assault and just run at people. It's gonna be up against the Drow Ranger and the Oracle, so it's gonna be really tough to get any kills in this lane. I think this Nyx Clock lane is gonna be super rough. Don't really have that much confidence in it. Maybe they can go for the Oracle if the Clockwork catches him out of position, but you can always just face Edict yourself and then get you know, tank through the magic damage from the Battery Assault. Battery Assault does last a lot longer than the Fate's Edict, but it's enough time to get away, I think. So this bot lane's gonna be a bit chaotic, but I think the Drow Oracle should definitely come out on top. It's just so easy to Frost Arrows these 2 melee heroes. You see Jakiro come out as the position 4. Interesting. Not a hero you see too often with Darkseer. Not you want to see another melee hero who's a bit faster. Just get in with the double ion shells and run at the enemy. But Jakiro is pretty strong in the lane. But also picking Jakiro into Clockwork is kind of miserable, right? Because you can't cast anything, you can't even attack during the battery assault. You have the Drow Aura, so maybe you can eventually break the cogs. It's a little bit easier with the bonus attack speed from the Drow Aura, so I guess it's not too bad. But you definitely can't cast any spells while you're being battery assaulted, because these cast times are longer than the downtime of the battery assault interval. So interesting to pick the Jakiro into the Clockwork. Not something you see too often. You also have the Nyx Assassin to deal with, where he can spike Carapace the Macropire and set up for a follow-up stun really easily. I'm not convinced by this Jakiro pick. Maybe Earth Spirit would also be like pretty risky because you've got the Magnetize, but I mean, Magnetize doesn't spread. You have to get the Nyx Assassin and the Magnetize to get that. Spike Carapace, Reflect. Gonna see Wind Ranger come out from Workday. Not a hero we see too often anymore either, but definitely a pretty strong hero in the lane. In most 1v1s, Wind Ranger can do pretty well and can take towers pretty fast if you have Focus Fire still up. And is also a bit of a flex pick. You can go into most lanes and do okay. Probably gonna see mid Wind Ranger, but they've got the back-to-back picks, so it's not too bad. Anti-Mage banned from Bane and Mirana Ganks. I think this would have been a pretty shitty anti-Mage game, to be honest. They really need a hero who can deal with Darkseer and Jakiro. There's a lot of damage coming out from these two, with the Iron Shell and the Dual Breath. Husker banned out for Workday, so I think it's gonna be that mid lane Wind Ranger. Although I feel like Husker wouldn't do too well against Wind Ranger. You just spam that Wind Run, and then Husker can no longer get any more burning spears on you. I don't think Husker would have been a very good pick here anyway, so feels like a bit of a wasted ban. And you definitely don't want to pick anti-mage into this like death bally lineup. The problem that I have is there's no catch on the side of Bane and Mirana Ganks yet, so they might pick like Dragon Knight. That could be really good because you have a tanky hero to group up around with the Dark Sea to be able to counter initiate with the Vac Wall. Fat PA and Wind Ranger don't really. They're not that scary. The wall illusions aren't as scary for the Darkseid to copy, so it's not too bad for him. It's not too bad for the side of Workday. The wall is going to be effective, but not as effective as like say there's a Terrorblade or a Morphling. So we'll see who Bane and Mirana Ganks wants to pick to go up against Wind Ranger. It's a pretty scary laner for most heroes. Could see TA, but I maybe would like to see Dragon Knight, just get like a tankier hero to group up and around. You don't want Darkseid to front line, and you've already got 3 ranged heroes. DK also benefits from the Drought Aura during his ulti, so it's not too bad, and the synergy is definitely there. We can also see TA, but it seems a bit volatile. Could definitely do okay against Wind Ranger here. There's also Lina is on the table, but might struggle a little bit against Nyx in the later stages of the game, and Clockwork as well. Could also see Dusa, another tanky hero to group up around. Dusa Drow, can't ever say no to that. It's gotta be Mirana, so fulfilling half the prophecy of Bane and Mirana Ganks. Interesting. Don't see this hero too often, but it's got the leap to get out of the cogs, which is pretty nice. So you don't force to buy a 4-staff. It's gonna be the Morris on Mirana. I feel like the Morris is normally the offlane player, but maybe Bane and Mirana Ganks switching up their draft a little bit. Gotta be Ultra Magnus on the Oracle, who's normally the position 4 as well. And oh, I guess that's a much better lane. Oracle Darkseid, way more kill potential. Got all that magic burst and the sustain as well from the Iron Shell. But then now it's going to be Drow and Jakiro up against Nyx and Clockwork, which I don't think is that good for the Jakiro. Maybe I would really prefer to see Oracle go against the Clock and Nyx than the Jakiro. So I guess we'll see what the lanes are. The Morris and THC, Darkseid and Mirana spammers, so very comfortable with these heroes. And let's hop into the game after the anime loading screen ends. Free camera. So introducing the side of Workday, we've got Asian Go player on the Wind Ranger, Ponies on the Phantom Assassin, Royal GG Chris on the Vengeful Spirit, MG on the Nyx Assassin, and now this is feeding on the Clockwork. On the side of Microsoft Bane and Mirana Ganks, we've got THC on the Darkseid, Big Leaf on the Jakiro, the Morris on the Mid Mirana. It was all yellow on the Drow Ranger and Ultra Magnus on the Oracle. So it is okay. It's gonna be Drow and Oracle up against the Nyx and Clock. I like this a lot more. Let's see, did Jakiro? Yeah, Jakiro is the one who bought the wards, I think. Is he? He has a Windlace. I think Oracle bought the wards. So gonna be position 5 Oracle. I think that's okay as well because Jakiro does scale well with farm. You get that Yules for the easy ice path setup. You can get 4-staff as well against the Clockwork a bit earlier. Maybe just gonna go directly for the 4-staff to help his team out against the Clockwork. Maybe save himself from the cogs. Nice 2-man dual breath to start off though. Wind Ranger's down here. It's gonna be pretty hard to get this rune if there's 3 of them. But already pretty efficient mana usage by the Jakiro. This is going to be a pretty hard lane for Drow Ranger to take. So going to be 3 bounty runes going the way of Workday. Already a pretty good start for them. The Clockwork can always you know, just block people out. Actually leveled the battery assault at level 1. So yeah, I guess that makes more sense because then you have a bit more kill potential than just leveling the cogs. But the cogs is a free way to get the bounty rune, so they were able to get both of the bounty runes anyway, so it's fine, it's not a big deal, and the battery assault lets him be more aggressive in this lane. So no, I like where this is going for now this is feeding. So Mirana and Wind Ranger is just going to be a bit of a farm fest here. I'm going to see some actually an early point in the arrow. I think Mirana just secured the range creep with the arrow, which is something that Mirana can do now. The arrow one-shots the creep. It's been like this for a few years now, but definitely something that changed to the favor of Mirana. Unfortunately, this is a medium camp and not a big camp anymore, so it's, yeah, she uses the arrow to get the range creep again, just securing that farm pretty easily, because Mirana's base damage is pretty low compared to the Wind Ranger. They both have pretty terrible attack animations. Bows in general are like not great attack animations. I'm gonna pull back the bow and then wait for the projectile to fire. And the Wind Ranger's bows, she fires the arrows way faster than the Mirana. So it's gonna be pretty hard for this Mirana CS in the lane. So just gonna use the arrow to cheese out the range creep. So won't be able to use the arrow to farm this camp effectively, but may be able to farm this one with an arrow. It's the potato and the tomato, so you're happy to like arrow either of them. Or you're using a pretty big amount of mana. Wind Ranger probably also just gonna spam power shot and then go farm this hard camp, but it's actually blocked by Mirana, so pretty interesting stuff there. A very unconventional ward placement. It doesn't give you vision of the runes though, so you do have to give up something for it. You can't get everything at once. So Darksea, just gonna do Darksea things, has the Iron Shell. It's gonna be pretty hard for him to find a kill on the Venge and the PA. It can get pretty risky as well. Now that Surge is percentage based and not a flat 550 move speed, you can't just run away from the Stifling Dagger anymore. Stifling Dagger is a 60% slow, or 50% slow. It's pretty significant. Haste on the Jakiro will be able to get away from the Vengeful Spirit. And Venge is in a bit of trouble. Surge up from the Darksea. We'll see if he's going to dive this. He's not going to go for it, so won't be able to get that first blood. The salve on the Vengeful Spirit will keep it, top it back up. No points in the Wave of Terror, interestingly enough, but maybe she'll pick it up in the next level. Just helping out with the PA's minus armor. PA also didn't pick up a Blightstone, which is something you usually see just so they get that little bit of extra damage. So I think the Wave of Terror and Blightstone would have been really sick in this lane, because Darksea has a decent amount of mana, armor, but Jakiro doesn't at all. But with the Blightstone and the Wave of Terror, they can reduce this Darksea's armor to 0, so taking away a big advantage of the Darksea's tankiness. So I would prefer this a lot more than the current build. Venge puts a point in Wave of Terror, but she's completely out of mana now, so it has to do the Walk of Shame back home. And yeah, I mean, this top lane is pretty rough for the Clockwork and the Nyx. There are only 2 last hits on the Clockwork against the 13 of Drow. There's not much they can do to contest the Drow in this lane. 2 points in the Frost Arrows early on. I like this a lot. The level 2 Frost Arrows is way better than the level 1 Frost Arrows. The 16% slow against 32. It's a huge increase in the slow. It's gonna be really hard to take down this Drow now. So Mirana gonna max out the Starstorm. You definitely want to see this over anything else, because Starstorm's the one that helps you farm, and you only need 1 point in arrow. You get the full stun duration on arrow, so leveling it up doesn't really make a big difference.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
You're gonna get the 5 seconds on it. Actually, Oracle and Nyx juking it out. The battery assault comes out. The Clockwork runs at the Drow Ranger. Nice cogs to push back the Drow Ranger, but now they're stuck in the trees. The battery assault is still going. Can they cancel the staff? They aren't even able to cancel the staff from the Oracle. I think I have a little bit of a misplay from the Clockwork. He should have just committed onto the Drow Ranger and just tried to force her away. Let the Nyx and the Oracle 1v1 each other. Nyx had a pretty decent amount of one charges, but Oracle does do a ton of damage, but you only get 1 Fortune's End. She already used it. So it would have been fine for the Nyx to keep fighting, because then the more purifying flames that Oracle uses, the more the Nyx actually ends up healing. So It's definitely... I think they could have gotten a double kill there if the Clockwork just went for the Drow instead. Gonna be 4 bounty runes going the way of Bane and Mirana Ganks. Excellent heads up play from them, timing the wave nicely. It looks like Darkseid is gonna go for a Crimson Guard. First is queued up the Vanguard at least. Maybe? Just a ring of health, but maybe we'll go back for the Vanguard later. It's not actually. It's a pretty good Crimson Guard game. It basically gets to negate the focus fire until she gets agged for a really long time. So it's a nice pickup. Doesn't help too much against PA. So 2 points in the battery assault now. We'll see if Nyx is able to set up for a stun. The Impale comes out. The battery assault is here. Actually uses the cogs instead, and now the creeps are here, so won't be able to chase the Drow Ranger. It would have been pretty hard. The creeps would have blocked a lot of the battery assault damage. Ultra Magnus getting another Fate's Edict. No, Fortune's End Purifying Flames combo. And this Clockwork is in a lot of trouble. He might go down to another combo, but Oracle doesn't have enough mana. Moonlight Shadow comes out to try and save the Darkseid a little bit. Interesting. Alright, well, Nyx might be in a bit of trouble, but Oracle, he's out of... he has enough mana for both of his spells now, but won't be able to get the second Purifying Flames as a follow-up, so only going to have 320 burst damage instead of 500. Jakiro going 2-0-2, so putting on the pressure a little bit on this safe lane tower. I do like this a little, like, if you're position 5 Jakiro, I think you should definitely always pick up Ice Path at level 4. But in this offlane position, he's also the position 4, just putting a little bit more pressure on the tower, so I do appreciate this. I probably wouldn't do it myself, but I can understand the reasoning behind it. An Invis rune bottled up for Mirana.
Radiant's bottom tower
I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. I already used Midnight Shadow. Top lane, the Oracle gets a Fortune's End, and the Nyx, so won't be able to chase the Oracle there.
We have first blood.
First blood on the Darkseid. Looks like a focus fire came out, and the Darkseid just went down. The Surge at early levels is not very good, especially with the PA slow. Oracle actually goes down in the top lane to the battery assault, interestingly enough. So must have gotten an Impale into a battery assault. Not much the Oracle can do after that. Doesn't have any points in Fate's Edict yet, so he isn't able to protect himself from the magic damage of the battery assault. Impale through the trees will miss, unfortunately, but the battery assault, actually it was back up anyway. But it's pretty deep under the tower. Fortune's End will come out again.
We go.
Just annoying the Clockwork a little bit. Invis on the Mirana now, but just popped it to get the Arcane Rune. This one's much better on the Mirana. Just get that earlier Starstorm back up 9 seconds instead of 12 seconds. Oh, actually, it's 30% cooldown. Clockwork in a lot of trouble now, and he's going to go down to the next Oracle for Purifying Flames. Oh, actually, Drow Ranger will get the kill. And Nyx also in a little bit of trouble. 3 points in the Frost Arrows, so actually looking to fight early instead of farm her way through the jungle. And I like this a lot. You're up against 2 melee heroes. Get that extra slow. It's 64% at level 7. You can't run away from her. So I think this is definitely the way to play Drow Ranger against 2 melee heroes. A lot of people just go 1-1-3 or 1-1-4. I don't like it at all. It's if you're winning the lane pretty hard, then you might as well just go for the extra points in Frost Arrows. You can still farm decently fast with just the level 1 precision aura. It's the marksmanship that's important. Sure, you get less procs because you have less attack speed. Meanwhile, THC diving the PA pretty deep, and PA is forced to leave now. Surge forward from the Darkseid, but not going to be able to catch up to the PA. She has another Phantom Strike soon. We're just going to cut the wave behind the tower and have the next wave attack the tower with the Jakiro. Jakiro with the level 2 Liquid Fire will be able to take out this tower coming up. Midnight Shadow comes out as the Drow Ranger gets dove upon by the Clockwork. And Clockwork, he could be in a little bit of danger if they decide to chase this one. So, gonna finally secure that bot T1 tower. Let's see how the net was. So Drow ahead of the pack a little bit. She farmed a stack here, so it's not too bad. 10-minute banner runes are coming up. The Fortune's End comes out. Actually, oh no, he didn't impale the Mirana, so not going to be able to grab that banner rune there. It's going to be 3 banner runes going the way of Bane and Mirana Ganks. Already, still another banner rune advantage. The Shackles latches onto the Mirana, but it's only a level 1 Shackle, so it's not going to last too long. 2 leaps to get out of there, and the Mirana will be okay. Jakira now level 6, so one of the things I love about Jakira, actually, he's committing to this max liquid fire build, so gonna double down on the push a little bit. They've got the siege creep now, a 10-second cooldown on this liquid fire. It's gonna go down to 4 in the next level, so pretty big stuff. You can also just macro pyre the creep wave away. Unfortunately, they let the siege creep go up on the high ground before the creeps arrive to body block the siege creep, so pretty unfortunate to lose the siege creep there, but Jakiro with the 3 points of liquid fire has it up again. This tower's going to go down pretty quick. It might go down in the next few waves. We'll see if Workday looks to defend this. It's a pretty important tower for them, so they really do need to defend it. Jakiro's just going to back out, try to get some more levels. Oracle also level 6. What are the supports? So Nyx is level 5, Bench is level 5. So just the Jakiro a little bit ahead of the pack, but they had a pretty easy bot lane, so makes a bit of sense. Nyx desperately wants to get level 6 so he can start ganking with the Vendetta, but seems kind of far away from it. Meanwhile, the Oracle will go down to the Wind Ranger, so pretty easy kill for her. She gets the power shot from the low ground. Nyx has money for the arcane boost, pretty important pickup for him because a lot of the times you Vendetta and then you just like ran out of mana afterwards and you're just like, alright, well I guess I have to go back to base now. But once you get the mana boost, it's easier to stay out on the map more actively. The Battle Fury is so far away for the PA right now. Only 3.5k net worth compared to the 5k of Drow. Drow is going to go for a Hurricane Pike first, just trying to get out of that Clockwork cogs. I mean, this is a big reason why we don't see Clockwork that much, right? Because you get countered by this 2k gold item. You see the Frost Arrows come out on the Wind Ranger. No Shackles onto the Dry Ranger, but they don't have any detection right now. And they're in a lot of trouble. Mirana with a haste rune actually gets spotted out by the Sentry. The Starstorm goes down. Fortune's End onto the Dry Ranger. She doesn't have a Wind Run anymore, so gonna go down to the Darksteed. So 1 for 0 trade, great pickup. It's actually a 4k gold lead already for the side of Bane and Mirana Ganks. Off to a great start, and they had the Dry Ranger to continue snowballing. Gonna go for this tower next, and this PA is not ready to fight yet at all, and neither is the Nyx. The Nyx has the Vendetta now. We'll see if the hook comes out. Actually, hook is on cooldown, so they're not gonna be able to chase this. Bit of a wasted rotation there. Had to force Microsoft back, but they're not going to be able to get anything out of it. Another Fortune's End Purifying Flame combo from the Oracle onto the Darksteed, but now the Oracle in a bit of trouble. Actually going to go down to the Mirana. The Clockwork will go down to the Mirana. At the bot side, the Nyx getting run down by the Darkseid, and the Vengeful Spirit Illusion actually. Wait, Darkseid killed the Venge somehow on the other side. That's pretty nuts. Probably some Iron Shell happening there. So it's going to be 3 for 0 on the side of Bane and Mirana Ganks, just extending their lead a little bit more. That was pretty dominating. The side of Workday, they're just not ready to fight yet. Like, who's going to start the fight? They've got Wind Ranger, who doesn't have a Maelstrom yet. She seems really far behind the Mirana, interestingly enough. But one of the problems with Wind Ranger is she doesn't farm very well. So you'll see maybe a focus fire come out on this mid tower, but it's kind of risky. Oracle's here now. It's got the false promise as well to make it much more difficult to kill allies now. You can always just false promise the shackles off. And I gotta say, this game's looking pretty rough for Workday already. PA still quite a while away. Finally has a Perseverance, but still a full Demon Edge away from the Battle Fury. Got shut down pretty hard. Fortune's End will come out on the Oracle, the Wind Ranger again, but should be okay. Jakira now level 9. It's really high level, and this is like one of the best things about Jakira is you can always defend a lane by yourself by dropping Macropie, and it just clears the creep wave, and they can't push anymore. Like, you don't even need to use the macro pyre during team fights. It's only a minute cooldown, so it also comes back very quickly. He's almost got a 4-staff as well, so doesn't have to be scared of this clockwork anymore. Drow should have hers also very soon. Gonna have more bounty runes come up. Gonna be 4 for 0, 3 for 1. It's gonna be 3 for 1. Nyx won't be able to secure one of them. The Oracle false promises herself to dispel the dust, but obviously reveals herself. And now in a little bit of trouble. Will take out the Vengeful Spirit before she goes down. Actually survives thanks to the false promise, but will eventually go down. The back wall comes out now onto 3 heroes. The Clockwork will eventually go down. Wind Ranger is going to be a little bit too elusive to chase her. Has the Arcane Rune, so we'll be able to get another Wind Run off. So another pretty great trade. The position 3 for the position 5. Very much worth it. This Clockwork struggling a lot. Doesn't even have phase boots yet. He's very far away from getting a blade mail at this point.
Radiant have fortified their towers.
Wind Ranger finally has a javelin, so these focus fires are going to start to hurt. But still pretty far away from being able to like actively fight. She definitely needs a BKB before is able to have a huge impact on the team fights. Side of Workday, they kind of have to try and find some pickups, but Microsoft Bane and Mirana Ganks, they're just deathballing pretty hard with this like Oracle, Darkseid, Jakira in a little bit of trouble against the PA, but PA doesn't do that much damage yet. No Battle Fury. Drow's here now, can get a Gust off. They actually the Frost Arrows will finish off the PA. Unable to get any marksmanship proc, so actually the PA will end up getting away 20% evasion, pretty valuable.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Wind Ranger will snatch the invis under the nose of the Darkseid. Pretty annoying for the Darkseid. Actually, Mirana gets a nice arrow, but isn't going to be able to finish anyone off. They don't have any detection. This Wind Ranger gets a nice shackle onto the Oracle, and will finish him off during the duration of the shackles.
Ugly pain.
Didn't have false promise anyway, so would have died regardless. Nice solo pick off by the Wind Ranger. Pennies is halfway to his demon edge now. It's a slow but steady journey, but this Drow, she's so far ahead. Gonna go for a Mantis style next. Not really sure what that's gonna help against, because there's not like any silences or anything. I would have much rather seen like a Silver Edge or something to deal with this PA. But I guess they're kind of just ignoring the PA at this point as well. Meanwhile, THC actually going to go for an Atos. His team does lack a bit of catch. There's the Mirana Arrow and the Ice Path aren't reliable stuns. They're kind of hard to hit, so just gonna get an Atos to help his team set up for further kills.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
This tower's gonna go down for free. Looks like Workday not interested in contesting. There's a double damage rune in the bot rune, but don't think. Yeah, Microsoft don't have any vision for it. They go for a smoke. It looks like they're gonna try and go on.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
Not sure who they're gonna go on. The Wind Ranger seems like a pretty juicy target if she shows herself, which she is going to now. Looks like the call is made. They're gonna go on the Wind Ranger. TP comes out. Nice Ice Path to set up with the Wind Ranger, and the Gust to follow up so she can't Wind Run out. And a very easy kill by Bane and Mirana Ganks. Maelstrom now done on Mirana. Actually gonna go for an Axe, not an item we see very often on Mirana anymore, but you get that nice and easy wave clear with the double Starstorm. It's not too bad, but you normally go for it first because it's basically like a farming item, but she went for a Maelstrom instead. You're gonna see this like hybrid build between like Spellcaster and DPS. Kind of interesting. We don't see Mirana that often anymore anyway, so it's kind of hard to know what the best build is. I felt like this attack speed build, which was really popular during TI, is definitely the way to go. Nyx will get gusted up. They don't have detection anymore, but then they're walking into another sentry. Oracle drops another sentry, so we'll be able to take him out.
You weren't meant to see.
And now they can go for this tower pretty easily. Just like a very calculated game by Microsoft Bane and Mirana Ganks. The game plan is pretty simple, just do well in your lanes and then just continue continue to snowball. Atos will come out onto the PA. The arrow will miss, but the nice 2-man ice path to follow up. The gust will silence both of them, so PA won't be able to jump out. PA getting really low will end up going down. The Wind Ranger also got caught with them, so they're both going to go down. We'll see if Bane and Mirana Ganks look to go high ground off this. There is buyback on the PA and Wind Ranger, but it's going to hurt a lot to buy back on them. So maybe just going to give up this lane of racks, but it's only 19 minutes into the game. It's really early to give up lanes of racks this early. So Workday in a lot of trouble right now.
Radiant's middle tower is taking damage. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They get the tier 3, they can back out now, the PA's up, so it's time to sound the retreat. The bounty rune's up, the shrines are available to take, so this should be a pretty easy conversion from Bane and Mirana Ganks. They should be able to get pretty far ahead. Wind Ranger TPing in, gets the shackle onto the Darksea, and the Surges run out, so it's going to be in a bit of trouble. There's some detection, but he runs the wrong way, and will be able to dodge the Stifling Dagger. Nice Moonlight Shadow. Actually, another dust comes out, but the False Promise onto the Darksea, and they're not going to be able to kill him anymore. He's in a lot of trouble. So, the Nyx Assassin will end up going down. Magic Missile onto the Oracle, but there's no follow-up damage. Hawkshot is available, but it's kind of risky. Swap will come out from the Vengeful Spirit to save the Clockwork, but he'll end up going down anyway. And now the Venge is in a lot of trouble. Arrow comes out, but will just barely miss the Vengeful Spirit. But the Mirana's on the chase now. She has another leap, so won't be able to get away from the Mirana. And end up going down again. 3 down on the side of Workday. They can go high ground again if they want. But I mean, Venge and Clock will be up soon. Maybe just better to go for the bounty runes. Looks like that's what Darksea's going to do. He's going to push out this wave real quick. Takes the catapult as well with the HOD. So good stuff from him. And they can just take the shrines and Roche if they want. They can play this game however they want. They're 18k gold ahead. 21 minutes into the game. So that 1k gold advantage per minute is becoming a reality here. So I'm going to take this shrine now. Hopefully. Ping out the shrine. Nyx gets spotted out. Nice by Carapace, and a 2-man Impale follow-up. So the Dekiro will go down really quickly, but and Mirana as well gets shackled. The Oracle doesn't have False Promise to save himself, so actually 3 down on the side of Bane and Mirana Ganks. A nice turnaround. They didn't have the Darksea to help them disengage or turn it around with his mech. This mech is actually on the courier right now, on stash. And the courier is coming out, but there's no items on it. It's kind of weird. Not really sure what's going on there.
Dire's middle tower is.
They'll finally take out this mid tower. They don't have focus fire to take it down faster, but there's not much to contest them, so you're gonna finally take this mid T1 tower. Yeah, I mean the courier is coming, but there's no items on it. That was really strange. But THC is a bit confused about what's going on here. I am too. I don't really get it. Sometimes it happens, the courier bugs out and doesn't have any of the items that you asked it to bring. Oh, Magic Missile onto the Darksea. It's gonna be pretty hard to take him out. Another Stifling Dagger comes out. Nice swap onto the onto the Darksea, and they'll be able to take him out with the Impale from the Nyx Assassin. Actually, Wind Ranger secures the kill. She has a Maelstrom now. Gonna go for a 4-staff next. I'm not too sure about this one. She definitely needs like to stay alive, so the 4-staff will help. But I feel like she should just go for an Ags and just try and dive the Oracle or dive the Drow Ranger. So I mean, MKB seems pretty far away from the Drow right now. Actually, gonna go back for an Ags, which I don't like at all. Actually, I think you should only go Ags if there's someone you need to, you know, there's like an illusion here like PL, but otherwise Ags is just like, it's a glorified Battle Fury for Drow Ranger. It doesn't actually help you fight. So, bit of a questionable item choice comes out, but coming out of Drow, but they're so far ahead, it doesn't really matter. She's got her BKB, so really that's the only item that matters right now. Double damage next to the Roshan, so we'll see Bane and Mirana Ganks looks to take the Roshan. Very fortuitous rune spawn. Jakiro can always just push out the wave for the Macropile if he does to do that. He's just gonna dual breath it. He's got the... did pick up the dual breath talent. Let's see what talent he wants to pick up. If you pick the dual breath talent, you can actually Oracle force the false promise herself. Ice Path comes out onto 2 heroes to try and buy some time. PA just diving the Jakiro, but the Jakiro won't end up going down. Yules into an arrow, and the PA will be able to dodge a bunch of Drow shots. So pretty nice for her. The Wind Ranger ends up going down, and so does the PA. They have buyback. This is really important, but the Drow's got a double damage. It's going to be super hard. Also surged up, so you can't really run away from her either. Full team wipe for Bane and Mirana Ganks, and they can go high ground if they want. The creep is pretty far back, and the respawn times are pretty short, so maybe they should just go for Roche and the runes instead. It looks like they're going to push it, trying to force some buybacks, and see how this goes. They could definitely get this one lane of frags. Wind Ranger forced to buy back. I mean, pretty much everyone has to buy back if they're gonna get this. The fort's gonna come out, so Venge will be up by the time this fort ends. Wind Ranger takes out the HOD creep, but an Ice Path into an arrow swap from the Venge will save the Wind Ranger for now. But they're gonna get this lane of Rax pretty much for free. We'll see if they're able to catch anyone on the retreat. Hookshot's already been used, so it's gonna be really difficult. The Venge is looking for a swap, but not gonna get it. So mid Rax down now. It took him about 5 more minutes. And I mean, they can go back for the Roche if they want. 4 bounty runes again, going the way of Bane and Mirana Ganks, so good stuff from them. Haste rune on the Mirana now. Got a full Aghanim Scepter complete. Oh, actually, has had that for a while, because 2.4k gold as well. Gonna go for an MKB next. I like this a lot, just to get that evasion piece against the Wind Ranger and the PA. I mean, this Ags could have been like half an MKB. I don't like the Ags on Drow at all. Alright, well, Venge in a little bit of trouble, gets a magic missile off. Probably should have just gusted first to make sure the Venge couldn't get the magic missile off. It would have been a pretty free kill. So, bit questionable decision making coming out of the Drow Ranger, but it's fine. Alright, Moonlight Shadow coming in. There's no detection here. The PA will get caught out pretty quickly and will get instantly blown up during the Ice Path. Shackles onto the Jakiro will take him out. And Drow Ranger with the BKB, it's going to man up on the Nyx Assassin, take him out. Godlike on the Drow Ranger. The Morris also got a triple kill in this game, in this fight, taking out the Wind Ranger and the Clockwork. So it's going to march down mid now. Wind Ranger died back there, so it's going to be a long time without buyback. PA also bought out, so she doesn't have buyback. So it's going to be a pretty rough hold for the side of Workday, and this game's looking pretty grim. The arrow will miss completely, but they'll still kill him anyway. And yeah, I mean, this game's looking pretty over. 27k gold lead at 27 minutes. It's actually been over for a while according to Dota Plus. There was one team fight they did pretty well in that 1%.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
And we'll see when Workday decides to tap out. Yeah, alright, they call it GG. 2 lanes of Rax is really hard to come back from. And great showing from Bane and Mirana Ganks again, taking out the runners-up from last year in the salty run back. And just a really easy game plan to execute for them. You know, you just the Clockwork in the next lane was very confusing. It was like, how are they gonna get kills on the Drow Ranger? Because they're both melee heroes. I really like the build from Is All Yellow. The 3 points and the frost arrows early on made it really hard for the Nyx and the Clockwork to walk up to the Drow Ranger to attack her. So great heads up play from the Drow Ranger. Actually, only went for 3 points, didn't get the final point in Frost Arrows, but they changed the scaling on Frost Arrows to be more linear. In the past, it was like 10, 20, 30, 60, or something crazy like that. It was like the final point was way more worth it, but 48% slow is still pretty significant. You don't really need that 64 that much, so it makes sense to only put 3 points in. And yeah, I mean, like, just pretty easy game plan from Bane and Mirana Ganks.